2 years ago, I didn't understand what rendering meant. And that's fine, until I found the balls. No, not those kinds of balls. These balls. Anyways, I didn't know what the balls meant and how it could help me until I discovered the glazing method. Before we jump into the glazing method, first up, rendering. To put simply, rendering is when you want to make something in 2D, but make it look 3D. The best way to practice this is by coloring everything in grayscale. You can learn using the balls. Focusing more on values, the lights and the darks of your subject, before jumping into color. Now, it might be daunting at first, and you're bound to make a lot of mistakes, but keep practicing. Some things to keep in mind: don't overuse your color palette. Grayscale isn't that varied. Well, to a certain extent, yes, but keep in mind, the more grays you use in your grayscale painting, the faster the quality of your values would diminish. Basically, meaning that once you've fully rendered everything, it's going to be hell to color because all your values are muddied all together. Because of the purpose of the study isn't to perfectly make a one-by-one replica of your reference, but it's to take note where the light falls and the form of your subject forms. The best way to practice is to keep things simple. Keep the highlights and the shadows simple. And once you feel comfortable rendering in grayscale, onto the glazing method. The glazing method is more of an addition to your grayscale babies. And as the name suggests, you're not coloring directly onto your paintings. No. You're glazing color over them. What this means is that you're using a blending layer on top of your grayscale layer as such. This blending layer, either set on overlay or color, depending on your preference, would be your coloring layer where you add color. Now, I've had some of my friends who I've taught this method to complain that their colors turn muddy and desaturated. And this is where I say, trust the process. This stage is typically where your creativity shines. The use of your colors on your subject is only limited by your creativity. However, I typically like to keep my colors desaturated in the stage. The reason being, I usually adjust my colors after I've colored my grayscale painting. This gives me more control over the colors that I want to shine. I also usually use adjustment layers and tools in the app to make the colors pop, like gradient map, curves, HSV sliders, etc. What's great about the glazing method is that you can usually focus on practicing a lot of things at once. My best tip is to get a good reference picture. Either take it yourself or scroll through Pinterest just like the rest of us. Just don't be so restrictive. Be creative, go crazy, go wild, and have fun. Just deal with it. Ew, I was gonna say that. Hey, thanks for watching my first tutorial. I've been wanting to make these types of videos for years and just sharing what I've learned. Kind of like a beginner artist intro to art type of videos, if you get what I mean. If my explanations aren't clear, you can tell me because I'm bad at writing my thoughts down. And I usually just go ahead and say whatever I am thinking about, just like right now. I tried to keep things as summarized as possible as to not really confuse people who are just getting into art, because I was pretty confused and overwhelmed when I got into rendering using this method. And yeah, I hope it was clear enough. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.